chase the ability to become independent of your own biological needs.
To appear maybe very confident when negotiating with someone is you have to put yourself in their position.
That's empathy right there. I love that it's the appearance of confidence.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of our Success in Dubai show. As you already know, our goal on this show is to bring to you the people and the experiences that will help you to achieve your goal while living in Dubai. And today's guest is an expert negotiator with over 15 years plus of experience in international risk consulting. And he's also the CEO and founder of Daddy Services. And today he's here to share insight on how to negotiate with the right mindset. So please help me welcome our guest for today, Glenn Martin. Glenn, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me onto your show today.
Oh,
I'm excited to find out what questions you have for me.
Thank you so much for coming. So first of all, I want to say thank you for coming to the show. I mean, interesting to see how you, sacrificed your time to just come to have a one-on-one conversation, which I really appreciate. And to begin with, I would just like to know, to let people know a little bit about you, your background, maybe tell us about yourself, maybe 15 years ago.
15 years ago, I was getting on a flight.
Oh, okay.
I was getting on my first flight to have my first deployment over to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, where I was working on judicial matters, the perception of justice in the magistrates' court. Think about that. It's the thought of what it is to have a court, to actually go and create a position where the mindset of the public accepts the rule of law. So that was my first job 15 years ago when I got on that flight. So to get on that flight, that was a lot of effort. So that actually took 9 years of study.
To get on that flight?
To get on that one flight.
I'm really curious to know more about the study.
So I started off a man of very humble means, right? I couldn't read, couldn't write. I'm neurodiverse, which means that I think outside the bubble, and I use non-linear thinking. What that looks like is that if you say go straight, I'll be like, I can't go straight. I just can't go straight. So I went and become a chef. Use my hands, not my head. And then I got sick of tired of cooking for other people, and the love that I was putting into my food just was pushed out.
Oh.
And literally turned into shit, right? So, because that's what you do when you eat food. So you think about it, yeah. So I was like, well, that's not a sustainable career. So then I went back and I hit the books and I studied criminal psychology. So I got a double in that. And then I was like, well, I'm not done yet. And then there was a stripper involved. I lost my license. There was some other stuff. So I couldn't actually do what I wanted to do. So I was going to get into law enforcement. And then I was like, law enforcement decided that they didn't want me because of all my, I was driving 120 kilometers in a 40 zone and I got caught by the police. It's a big thing, in Australia at least. So that means I went back and did more study. So then I went and got a master's in policing, intelligence and counterterrorism. Oh. And at that point, I was... My first online negotiation started with somebody from the United Nations to get a job with them. So that's when I got deployed to Indonesia. And from then I've been negotiating ever since, all throughout the Middle East. Many different countries. I think I've worked in upwards of 20 countries so far.
Oh, 20 countries in the Middle East.
20 countries plus around all of the Middle East. Yeah. So wherever there was conflict, I kind of fell into that. So as an international expert, specifically in security, it's the duty of care, it's policy procedure, it's knowing how to get out of a tough situation, but you need to be prepared to get out of that tough situation. So it's all about the preparation, it's the mindset, it's the it's basically doing your homework. So you can't be somebody who's cavalier. You have to be someone that is literally like doing it by the numbers, which doesn't sound very fun, and it's not. So all of the stuff that you see on TV, yeah, that's not it. No, it's literally showing up for people, getting them food, water, hygiene, supporting in female-led households, cleaning schools, like the outsides of schools. So my job was to facilitate all of those in war zones, all of those kind of basic necessities, but in war zones.
Oh, really? That sounds like a very interesting career, I would say. So you've been doing that for the past 15 years?
Yeah, I started doing that in 2012, and then 2023, I stopped. And then I was already focused on daddy services at that time.
Okay.
I'd already done a couple of really interesting and novel solutions for dads. One being that his daughter was kidnapped.
Oh.
And then I worked on a case for 14 months. But let's not talk about that. And then I had another case where I get a phone call.
All right.
And the guy's in Ethiopia. He's an Afghan national. And I was I think I was in Jordan, or I could have been in Iraq at the time. And he's like, hey, I got to get home in the next 24 hours. I'm like, oh, tell me more. And he's like, yeah, my child was climbing on a window outside and fell.
Oh.
It happened to be the 4th level. So that child died, and he needed to go and bury his child within 24 hours because of his religious beliefs. So he came to me and said, get me home. So then that's how Daddy Services started. It started from really tough consequences. And then I was like, well, I had a letter that I had to write my wife because the dad from one of the other cases that I worked on just was like, why did my child do what they did? So I had to write a letter to my wife explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because that's when I went to Yemen. And at that time, Yemen was in a civil war. So the outcome of me being in a civil war meant that I had to justify why I was there to my wife. You know, that popped up again, that letter. It popped up again in 2022, 21 maybe? Yeah, 21 I think. And at that point, it was about we were having our discussion about, should we have a kid? Should we not have a kid? What are we going to do with our lives?
Yeah.
And it turns out that we wanted to have a kid. So we had to like reposition, because the work that I did, I had that letter, and she's like, you got this letter? You can't have this life. It's this letter or this life. You take a pick. She's a hard negotiator too.
Oh.
And I picked the kid. So that means that the letter had to be destroyed, and picking the child now meant that I needed to reorientate. And that's why I went back, and I went to Columbia University in New York, had 2 years. It was an amazing time. And studied negotiation and conflict management. And the actual nuts and bolts behind conflict. Why you feel the way you feel when you go into a conversation with anybody. So it's all that.
That is very interesting, I would say.
Why? Tell me why.
The reason why is because something inspired you. I mean, like you said, that you got the inspiration to go study in Columbia University from this position of the experience you had maybe with your partner or something. And that is where the whole journey kind of like started, right? And the reason why it's very interesting again is because, the inspiration behind it, the inspiration behind the action.
So this is a conflict that we're having right now.
Yeah.
and this then boils into a question, which is, what is negotiation? And negotiation is the ability to create energy. But why people don't like conflict is because they see it as negative energy. This is where you got to change your mindset. Don't see it as negative energy. See it as energy that's misaligned. Your job is to realign that energy in order to create a nice circuit between two people or between two different elements. Now, think about it. If you're trying to connect energy, where do you start from?
From yourself?
Yeah, you start from yourself, right? You're trying to plug out. So many people forget that when you're trying to plug out, that they're like, okay, they plug out, but they forget that the cord is actually connected to themselves. So at this point of this cord, you've got to start from internally. How do I feel when I'm having that discussion? Because I could see from our discussion just then, many different things were going on. Body language was going on. Then there was your non-verbal cues that were also starting to sit in. Then additionally to that, your choice of words, your tone, your pitch, your canter, all of those things need to be processed. But then I also need to process them on my side. So what I'm saying to you, I need to think about how you're going to reflect on that. I'm going to need to think about how you're going to react. What are you saying to me without your words? So this is where conflict becomes so more than just a general negotiation. Because negotiations, yeah, that's the pretty title. Behind it is actually...
It's something else.
How do we communicate with someone else about something that we want?
So what I hear you say is that to appear maybe very confident when negotiating with someone is you have to put yourself in their position.
That's empathy right there.
Okay.
So to appear confident, and I love that. I love that it's the appearance of confidence. Because on the internal, you could be shitting yourself. You could be absolutely terrified. I know that I've gone into negotiations absolutely terrified. Like sheer emotional fear, where my amygdala, hippocampus, my entire brain is like pulsating, where the blood has gone from my body to my hands because I'm ready to run, This is where you need to take a breath to become confident. And it's no different in any other meeting because you'll get that same kind of feeling, that rush, that feeling of, I don't feel comfortable right now. And then how do you tell your body, hey,
calm down,
chill out. It's fine. There is no dinosaur behind me that's going to eat me. Well, first you look, then you take the breath. And you tell yourself, it's going to be okay. So that's the start of confidence right there.
And you also mentioned something. You said conflict is energy that is misaligned. And so I'm just curious, like what is the right way to really align? I know you mentioned that you need to start from yourself, but again, sometimes maybe you're coming from that position of fear, or you're coming from that position of I'm not comfortable right here. So how do you align? But there is a conflict happening. I mean, there's a situation. Despite the fact that you're not comfortable, you're afraid or something, but there's a situation. So how do you align your energy? Like how do you align yourself to what is on ground?
Well, that's a really cool question to ask. Sorry, there was something in my mouth. It happened to be my tongue. I was just trying to get words out. And what it is that no conflict is a ninja. It's coming. You can see it coming. You can see everything coming. It's the fact that whether you're naive about it or not, whether you want to believe that it's happening. So if you acknowledge that I'm going to go into a situation where I don't feel comfortable, then you need to have your mitigation in place. You need to have contingency plans in place to feel comfortable. And those contingencies may be internal contingencies, such as at one point when I am going to get a tough question, I'm going to have a little bit of water. Or I'm like, why did I need that water? And I can feel that my tongue is slightly dry. Well, I know that that is a preliminary sign of feeling agitated, feeling nervous, because now my body is taking the liquids internally. It's putting them in a place that is getting ready for a fight, flight, fright. So this is where being prepared to have a conflict comes in so handy, because you see these conflicts every day. Every time you're trying to get something, there's a conflict. Someone has something you want. It's very simple. But then there's so many contextual factors behind it that start to play into what it is that you're trying to get. So my answer would be to listen to what the other person has to say. Be curious about what they want, what they need. Go dig a little deeper.
I mean, that is cool. So by listening to what the other person has to say, you find a way to direct their energy, maybe towards what you want, and you appear a little bit more confident, right?
Right. Reason being, if you ask a question, what are you actually doing? You're leading the conversation. You're letting the other person talk. You're gathering data. Your job in a conflict is to gather data, turn it into information to make actionable decisions.
I mean, that is interesting. Now, let me take you back a little bit. So this is Success in Dubai. And you've been into negotiation, you've been into conflict management throughout, all over the world. What would you say is a successful life for you?
So a successful life is the ability to have enough equity, enough cash to survive.
Okay, cash.
Enough connection to feel that you are somewhere where you value being. So that someone values you. So you feel that internal validation. That you have a level of autonomy to choose what you want to do, how you want to do. That you're not just pushed into doing something to survive. That you invest in something that makes you feel homeostatic, not happy. People who say happy, they're going to be chasing a drug. Dopamine and oxytocin. Don't chase drugs. Chase the ability to become independent of your own biological needs. That's success right there.
Very curious right now. You talk of people who are happy, like they chase drugs or something. So what do you mean? Like, what is happiness for you? I'm just curious to know, what is happiness for you?
Happiness is a chemical combination that is fleeting over time. So that means basically, if you get happy, you're going to be happy for a certain amount of time. Then what happens? You're going to have another emotion that comes. That emotion's probably not going to be as good unless it goes to like elation. But it's not going to go to elation generally. It's going to go from happiness, maybe down to joy, then down to I'm okay, then, okay, something bad happens. Now I'm starting to get angry. But then behind anger, you're like, why am I angry? It's either fear or sadness. So then you're on this roller coaster that continuously goes. So people who are chasing happiness are actually on a drug high. You get my point now? So I'm looking at it from neuropsychology right here. So I'm saying that if you are somebody who has the abilities to take a breath, then you have the abilities to be homeostatic. You have the abilities to be comfortable with inside yourself. If you are comfortable with inside yourself, you conquer the world. because the world is what you perceive it on the outside. Sorry to get all philosophical on you and stuff.
No,
but
I mean,
this is how I think, how I feel, and how I create my own success.
No, I mean, it's really interesting because I ask this question to all the guests that I bring to the show because I'm curious to really know what people really think about success these days. And I think you're the first person that mentioned, because most people mention happiness as one of the key things to success.
Oh, is it?
To be successful, you need to be leading a happy life.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned basically that if they could get, because he owns a business in Dubai as well, if they could get their team successful and their family successful and maybe those around them successful, happy, he will consider that as success for him.
The first question I'd ask to him is, what happens if they die? It's the first thing. Then he becomes miserable. See, the thing about happiness is it can be taken away from you very quickly. So you're always trying to protect it. Then as you're starting to protect happiness, what happens is that now you're already in a fight, flight, and fright stage because you're trying to see every single potential risk out there of loss. So now you're hyper-focused on negativity, not on happiness. So you've lost it already. So this is why homeostasis is so much more important. The abilities to manage your own emotions and to accept that they will come and that they will leave.
So instead of chasing happiness, we should rather chase independence. That's one of the words you mentioned.
Yeah. Independence from self.
Okay.
That's where that's the important distinguishing factor, independence from self. Because we have different parts of our brain, right? We have this front part. It's really cool. That's what gives us all of the thought process. But what drives a thought process? Yeah, this is a steering wheel. But at the back, we've got our wheels and our fuel. So it's funneling you forward. So if you're always thinking about like emotion, or if you're using emotion to think, what happens is it controls you. So your subconscious is controlling you, not your conscious, which means that you're not in control of yourself. That means you're only time traveling. You're in the future or the past. Come here, be with me. I want to talk to you.
That is interesting. And I think everyone needs to realize that. What I'm saying is everyone needs to realize the importance of living in the present, just like you just mentioned. Because sometimes we focus too much on what is going to happen or what has happened that we forget what is happening.
And you'll find success in what's happening now.
Rather than focusing on what is going to happen.
Yeah, because that's always never going to happen.
So the future is an illusion.
So the time continuum, it goes this way, but realistically, it's only today that matters. What you did yesterday builds on today's momentum for tomorrow's success. But it's today the day that you actually do something. So you are in control of your own success. It's just a matter of getting up and actually holding on to it. Saying, okay, today I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And actually getting those 3 things done. But be reasonable with yourself. Because inside there's this critic that's like, really angry guy, right? Or girl. It is at this point that you go, okay, fine. Since I'm going to hold myself accountable, I also need to be nice to myself. Because if you're not nice to yourself, no one else is going to be nice to you. So be nice to yourself. That's number 1. Take care of yourself. That's also part of being successful. Because if you can't be nice to yourself, how do you be nice to others? Because if your cup is empty,
you cannot.
You're like, have some nice. No, there's no nice there. So it is that by setting those goals, small goals, goals that are reachable, You set small milestones, just tiny ones.
Just tiny.
Because tiny ones today, tiny ones tomorrow, already after a week, you're this far ahead. So it is breaking down those big problems into little tiny problems and then go, I can achieve this, I can achieve this. This is a 2-day job. I can achieve half that today. And being honest to yourself.
I mean, I totally agree with that.
Do you do that, but?
No, the reason I agree completely, it's because recently I mean, a couple of habits that I wanted to build, like reading habit. Yeah, because not a really good reader, I would say. And so I was going through this book called Atomic Habit or something, and one of the things that were mentioned there is that to build a habit, you need to start small. So I made up my mind, okay, I'm going to do a 15 minutes of reading every day.
Cool.
And I've been doing that for the past 2 months, I would say. And I've missed like 1 or 2 days for the last 2 months.
Okay.
Which I find it really interesting because now the consistency is building up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I want to do 15 minutes, but as I'm reading, it gets interesting that I do maybe 20 minutes, sometimes even 30 minutes.
Nice.
And now the habit is building up.
Nice.
So I completely agree with taking little steps every day.
Yep.
I think because intentional days builds a life of purpose.
True.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I really agree with that. Now let's go back to negotiation because I'm really interested to know more about negotiation actually. So let's say how do you appear on a negotiation table? Like what will be the first way? Because you talk about body language as we were talking earlier, and maybe so what is the best way to appear on a negotiation table?
Ask yourself why you turn up. Why are you turning up to that negotiation table? If you don't know why you're turning up, leave. Because the other person will tell you're disingenuous. They will tell that there's no authenticity behind your negotiation. If there's no authenticity, what happens is that you send messages to that other person or that other team of people. From the back, they receive it. They don't know it because they can't filter all of that data, but they can perceive it. So they have a feeling in their stomach. Oh, this doesn't feel right to me. So it's already starting. So what this comes down to is preparation. You need to prepare yourself to sit at the negotiation table. Do the work before you get there, because the negotiation itself is a performance. All the work that is done before. You need to do like your homework. Just because it looks easy, it's not. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. You need to understand how the other person or people are. You need to create baseline communication. You need to really start to sit about what their needs are, what their wants are. How do you get that information? What are they trying to hide behind? What are their golden tickets? What is there, as someone would say, what is that one key piece that will completely dissolve that negotiation and take away all of their negotiating power? What are they hiding? Why are they sitting there with you? How can you make them feel comfortable? Because it's a conflict at the end of the day. You're trying to align energy. So there's different types of energy. There's positive and negative energy.
Okay.
So if you're going to use negative energy, you better know how to wield that. Because the thing is that if somebody has negative energy that wields it at me, I'm going to wield back positive energy.
Okay.
And it's stronger. Because negative energy takes so much more capacity to hold on to. Because this is where you're like emotional. So I'm like, fine, you wanna roll emotionally? Go for it. I'm gonna love you. All that this negotiation's about, because you turned up today. I appreciate you. You want to take all of my money. Sure. I'm gonna let you work for it. And at the end, I'm actually gonna make money from you, because I'm gonna start to collect lots of little pieces of data about you as we're talking. And the outcome of that is that I'm going to make you feel comfortable. And then you're going to come on my side, because I want to help you at the end of the day. I want you to feel that this negotiation could go on again, that it's not uncomfortable. So this is about homework. It's all about homework.